Please come and say something. We look upon you in public service. You are such a mentor.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I really wish to congratulate very much all those who have organized this event. Sometimes in Kenya we forget our leaders, and what we are doing now is to make sure that we don't forget our leaders. Through appreciation, we become visionary so that we are able to do more and value our contributions to the country. I want to say that the professors who spoke to us about Kibaki, I think they spoke very well, but I think they forgot a few things which would have even made their presentations very strong. And this is education. I think Kibaki made a great impact in this country on education, not just primary. You know, because the party came with the free primary. But soon after that, Kibaki introduced free day secondary so that to expand, the middle, the middle education. So that really expanded education in this country. It did not stop there. He also introduced Tibet technical education so that every county, every county, and to have a technical institute to empower people. More than that, you grew up, expanded the university education from 6 public universities to 22. And soon after, the number went even up to, I think, 33, 34. So for me, the impact that Kibaki has had on education is really what is transforming this country. There's no doubt. Sometimes we get a bit worried about the youth in the country, but the youth has been empowered. So we have a responsibility as leaders to make sure that we act ahead of the youth by expanding the economy. I'll tell you how, when Mungiki became a nuisance, when the Ministry of Youth was created, was in response to the Mungiki menace. And we realized, Kibaki realized, that a lot of these people, youth, are idle. What do we do to make sure that they have opportunities for employment? So what we did was, to take care of the youth was to expand the education, of course, so that they stay in school longer and they are more technically empowered to do that. Then on top of that, he really identified the sectors that needed to be expanded so that they can create more jobs. At that time, Nairobi, there were no high-rise buildings. In fact, we used to have Nyayo high-rise somewhere near down Nairobi Dam, Nyayo high-rise as more estate. There was Kariako, which was done very early, and there's more high-rise also estate in Outer Ring. We didn't have high-rise apartments. So Kibaki opened up Nairobi for high-rise buildings and multi-purpose, multiple use of buildings, not just residential. You can imagine Upper Hill, or just bungalows. How many people are in Upper Hill in bungalows in 1 week each? How many people? places like Kilimani, places like all these areas around Nairobi, even Parklands, Westlands, Lavington, they were just bungalows with very few people. People having just 1 acre in one house, a family of 2 or 3. So you opened up and look at Nairobi today. I mean, all these high-rise have created those jobs, a lot of jobs. So really what I'm saying here is that Kibaki really valued think tanks very much. That's why the Economic and Social Council could come up with various options. And once he's convinced about the best option available, he would just give us, targets. There's no two-way. You are given targets. You have to deliver. And you just say, don't talk too much. People will appreciate what they can see. Do it. When people see it, you remember the roads, the development of the roads in the country, infrastructure, the ICT. I remember Kenya was when Kibaki took over, Kenya was very slow on adopting the new ICT transformations which were taking place globally. So he said, now, who are we going to give this ministry? We need to have somebody who can understand it. Unfortunately, those days, appointments were only restricted to members of parliament. So we got one of the members of parliament, Kagwe, who had been in information, who had been, I think, a director in the Ministry of Information. He could understand more about information technology. Then he asked now, and the permanent secretary, where do we get one who can understand this ICT? Murage said he knows of somebody, a Kisi, demo, in the university, who was in America, and he is very good in that area. So the two people are appointed. And the first thing they did was to review where we were. And then they realized there was a regional program to bring marine fiber cable to East Africa, because we did not have. That's why we are lagging behind. We're just using the satellite. So the first thing, they went to South Africa, where there was a regional meeting just to push that agenda. When they went there, they found people are just talking at cross purpose, as the program was too slow. They came and said to the president, Your Excellency, this project, this fiber cable, unless we have it, marine fiber cable, we shall not take off. And if we wait for the regional project, we may wait for another 10 years. Why can't we do it ourselves? Kibaki asked them, and what is the cost implication? What is the cost? He told them it's about $130 million, and he consulted with some companies. About $130 million, they would land the marine fiber cable in Mombasa. Then the president said, yeah, we don't have that $130 million, but we can find it. I'm sure we should be able to find that money in our budget. Go ahead. It's as simple as that. You convince him, he tells you, go ahead, we shall find the money in our budget. Now, I don't have to elaborate where Kenya is now on ICT. It was so bright and so forward-looking, that any idea that could make a difference, he embraced it and then moved very fast. The highways, you know, the Thika Road, the parliament was complaining, members of parliament were complaining, the road was in very bad condition. It needed to be recarpeted. What do you call it? Recarpeted, refurbished. It was just 4 lanes from Nairobi to Thika. So we sent Kamau, who was the roads engineer, to African Development Bank. He went there, and the African Development Bank asked for statistics, what have you. I told him, now, this road with only 4 lanes cannot serve this traffic, which is one of the heaviest in Africa. You need to think of a minimum of 6 lanes, 6 to 8 lanes, for it to make sense. So they came and briefed the president. President told them, I think those people are making a lot of sense. Let's do it. We shall try to improvise money and do it. At that time, that $1 billion was like a lot of money. But once that road was done, in fact, it was done in a period of about 2 to 3 years, perfectly. That gave Kenya ambition about highways. And now, I don't have to say about what happened in Nairobi. I don't have to tell you what happened in the rest of the country, because we developed a lot of highways throughout the Kenya. And Kenya now is one of the best served countries in Africa in highways. So I thought I needed to say that, to know that, you know, leadership is not just, it requires a lot of thinking also. Thinking, deep thinking, and that's what we had. The president did not have a lot of time for a lot of talking. He wanted to entertain a lot of ideas and discussions. And once he is convinced, then money was not a problem. The other thing which I think may not have been very clear here is that he set limits at how much money you can use administratively. He wanted a minimum of 30% to be used for development, for investment. So whenever you are presenting a budget, your budget should be like a maximum of 70% administrative and 30% investment for development. And really that made us have a balance between the development and the consumption. And that was because we are being led by an economist called Kibaki. You want to balance the investment and the consumption. And that went on very well. The other thing is, as an economist, he did not want to add more taxes. I remember he asked us to review more taxes. When we reviewed, he said there's nothing wrong with these taxes. We don't have to add more. All that we have to do is to make tax collection more efficient and also make people own, tax, call it responsibility. The people, the Kenyan people have to own tax responsibility. And to my surprise, within the first 1 year, we moved the revenue from about 400, total revenue was about 400, I think 40, something like that. To 600, I think about 60 or 50. So the jump was a lot. We did not add any taxes. And then by the third year, we are around $1 billion. Trillion. So, in other words, their taxation is not just more and more taxes. It's actually the efficiency and the public ownership of the taxes. So I really want to say that those are a few things, but I can talk and talk and talk because I learned a lot from our Excellency the President. He was a source of wisdom. If I tell you the way he handled the post-election violence, because that was like violence imposed on him. The way he handled it was unique in Africa because he did not want that violence to continue. He wanted it concluded as quickly as possible. And that's why he agreed very fast to have a Grand Coalition. When a Grand Coalition was formed, he treated all ministers equally. Not to say this is this minister, this is ministers who are his huntsmen, and they are to deliver in their sector. I remember also, with the experience that we had a post-election violence at that time, we realized the violence actually should have been controlled, but we didn't have enough policemen. We had very few policemen in the country. We really looked even at the military. We had very few people. The military. Our military were very, numbers. We just give orders so that we don't go through those type of experiences again. Double the number of police and the number of military, so that the country has stability. And those type of decisions are not just made by anybody. They are made by people who are seeing far. And really, to me, I think people are writing a book, but at that time I was writing mine. I don't know whether they published that book of Kibaki. I think it was published, but more needs to be done to be written about Kibaki. Thank you very much.
Attorney General Emeritus Justin Muturi.